Good morning, dear Stitchers. It's Judy with JBW Designs, and I want to welcome you back to my FlossTube channel. This is episode number 96. Today is September 10th, and when I say, excuse me, I've been gone a long time, I have been gone a long time. I had the best of intentions after I recorded the last video in August to record another video 2 weeks later. And if I think back to the last month, I know exactly why I didn't have time to do that. So the first thing is I was getting ready for the Needlework Marketplace. And then, of course, then the next week was the Marketplace. And the next week was packing orders. And the next week was out-of-town guests. So it's been a little crazy. And I'm actually looking forward to some calmness. I need to get back to a regular routine, but I am so grateful for all of those who watched the last video with the new products, who were so encouraging. Your comments mean the world to me, and I'm so grateful that you all take the time to watch. I am only about 80 or 90 people away from 7,000 subscribers. And so I'm going to encourage you, if you don't subscribe, please do. Don't ask me why I have that goal. It makes no sense at all. When I started out, I thought if I got 100, I'd be lucky. So anyhow, that's the state of it, right? So just again, thank you, thank you, thank you. You have become dear friends to me. I read all your comments. I always try to write back to you. And it's just such a wonderful, caring community, as you know. So let's see, what do I need to tell you first? So a couple of videos ago, I asked if you had any questions for me. And so you did. You sent in some wonderful questions. And as they come in, I've been answering them. And in the last video, one of the comments was from Char. And she asked me if I could go anywhere in the world for 2 months just to get inspiration. Where would I go? And you won't be surprised to hear this, but I would go to France. And I'm so lucky. I've been there several times. I went with my daughter. I went with my friend Connie. My husband and I have been. I went with Linda Ebright from Lizzie Kate. So I have been blessed many times over. But it is, to me, the most inspirational place that I could visit. And I was trying to think back to, why do I feel that way? And I think, when I think about going into the little towns and seeing the architecture in the countryside and the windows displays for any shop that you visit are just remarkable. I don't care if it's the patisserie or, a children's clothing shop. It's just so everything is so artfully done. And so that's where I would go. I don't think I have any chance of going there, but you can always dream, right? And so that would be my dream. So in my last video, I had 6 new releases to show you, and I'm trying to find all my paperwork here. And at the time that I showed you, and it was a very short video because I was trying to make it short so if the shop owners wanted to watch and see the products before they came to market, they would know what they looked like up close. But at the time, the books were not finished. So I thought I would just quickly go through the 6 new releases. I only have a few of the models here. I have a trunk show out, and I'm going to tell you about that in a little while, about where it is. So I will show you the new booklets and show you the models that I have, and then we'll move on to the next topic. So the first one I'm going to show you had an error in it. And I can tell you, and I'm sure other designers feel the same way, that when we get a little email that says, "Dear Judy, did you know that in this booklet, you're missing a symbol, or the numbers in the color code aren't right, or in this case I misspelled something. And truly my heart falls into my stomach because I'm so kind of upset with myself and saddened that it happened. It happens to us all, I know that, but we take so much time proofing our pieces. And someone told me once, and I have a friend that proofs for me also, that sometimes you're so close to the product or the design that you don't even realize that you've made a mistake. So my first booklet is going to be a confession about where the mistake is and where the correction is posted. So the first booklet that I'm going to show you, and I don't have the model here in person, is Christmas Tree Bauble. And the funny thing is, even though I love France, I obviously do not speak French at all. And I've used this word, Joy Noel, in other patterns, that phrase. I misspelled joy. And it's supposed to be Joyeux. And for some reason, my little brain went kerplunk, and it went to Joyeax. And so it actually, it truly is a fairly easy fix, even if you didn't see the correction, because you can just eliminate the top two stitches of the word A. I don't know, I can't know that I can show you. I should have brought a larger, I'll show you the correction. I don't have a larger version of the incorrect one to show you, but it's just a matter of removing a few stitches so that it looks like a U. So this I'm going to just show you real quickly. So this is what the correction looks like. So all I've done is, instead of the A in this place right here, I have made it a U. So I apologize for that, and you know that we would never do these things on purpose. The next one I'm going to show you is another one in the Bauble series, and it was Reindeer Bauble. And these were mounted on wooden discs that I'm carrying now that I sold to shops, and quite a few shops ordered them. They come unfinished, and so you can paint them any color that you want. And I have two sizes. I have a 4-inch size for the over 1 model and a 5-inch size for the over 2. I'll have to show you those little discs again next week. So let's see. Oh dear, 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 dear. Oh no. Don't you wonder sometimes where your brain is? I looked at this book and I thought, oh no, I see another mistake. No, I didn't. I had 2 copies of the same book. Do not worry. Hopefully the mistakes are past us. So the next one I want to show you is Merry Christmas. And I had 2 versions of this. Let's see if I can show you. Yep, it's in the booklet, so I can open it up. So I had a little pillow version that was worked over 1, and that actually is at the trunk show. It was finished by the finisher from Color and Cotton, and she chose a rickrack that they dye that matched the colors in the piece, and she did a beautiful job of the finishing. The only model that I have here of that design is actually my larger model, which I do love. And this is, here, if I tip it a little bit, you can see it. It is in a little shelf that is made by Chantel's 141. And I think this would be wonderful for so many horizontal designs. The product itself is beautifully made. It comes in a flat package, so it comes in pieces. And if you can see here, there's a back piece. There are 2 side pieces in the base. And it's just a matter, after it was painted, it comes unfinished, of assembling it, gluing it together, and then I glued my model on here after I mounted it and put batting under it, or felt rather. I used a rickrack from Lady Dot Creates that is called Algae. I just added a silk ribbon and a pin and some greens and ornaments, and as I say, I'm really pleased with how that model turned out. So I would encourage you, I have a couple models that pieces that I used from Chantel's 141 this time, and I encourage you to go to her website because she has many beautiful finishing pieces. So you know I always have to stop and write myself notes because I want to include a couple things I tell you about in my notes below my video. So moving on, the next design that I did was called Autumn Harvest. And this also had two versions of it. You know I love the over one. So I have the over one version here. And this was stitched, I believe, on a 25 count Lugana. So it's a little easier to see than the 28. And I finished this myself. I just mounted it on comic board, and I did two pieces, so one for the back, one for the piece that backs the design itself. Mounted this with the linen and added the rickrack. This rickrack I just had in stock. It was an ecru, and added a bow and a tiny little kitty cat charm. Now I think I told you in the other video, there's actually an alphabet hidden below the pumpkins, and there are several little kitty cats. One is, you don't see his head, you just see his tail entering this little pumpkin patch. There's one that's hiding here, and there's one that's just marching across the top. So the second version that I have of that design, let's see if I have, I don't know that I have a picture. Well, this will have to do. So the second version I did was over 2, and that was done on a 36 count Edinburgh linen in cream. And this product that it's mounted on, again, is a beautifully made wooden plaque that's made by Chantel 141, and it comes actually in 3 pieces. So there's the flat back itself, and then there's a second piece that has the scallops and the little holes in it. If you can see that, you could actually put ribbon through that. And then there's a third piece that's kind of a little triangle that sits on the back of the backing piece, and that allows you to stand this finishing plaque up on a table. And I think it's a wonderful finish. You could use it, of course, for other vertical designs. I'm sorry, not vertical, horizontal. I think I might have misspoke before. Not surprising, right? It's always a challenge. I've always wanted to talk about this. I think what's interesting is that when you do a floss tube by yourself, I think it is harder than doing it with a partner who can kind of correct you or feed you a word or a company name or product if you can't remember it. But such is life. This is how I do them, right? So the 5th one was called With Kindness, and this was finished by Michelle with My Finishing Touch. She posts on Instagram. Follow her. She has just beautiful finishes, and she did a ruched ribbon around the pillow. She added little pink buttons on the sides and the top and the bottom. This piece was worked on a 36 platinum Zweigart linen, and I did use hand-dyed fibers, but I always give a DMC equivalent, and I don't have the model here for that one. So that was the 5th one, and then the last one was my ornament booklet 6. And once again, this has 20 ornaments in it. Quite a few, about half the ornaments are at the trunk show, but I do have the other half here. So I'm going to just quickly show you my little tiered tray, and I just kind of plop them on the tray with greenery, etc. So I'm going to take a minute here and lift that up. Let's see here. And without spilling everything, I can just kind of quickly turn this and show you some of the ornaments that are, oops, yes, this is going to fall. I wanted to show you the ornaments that are on the top, but if I tilt it, everything's going to come crashing down. So the little angel, the little sleigh, let's see, there's a little tiny circular sampler house piece, and a little stocking. So they're fun to do, they don't take too long. The models that I'm showing you are worked over 1. I always encourage you, don't let that dissuade you from stitching them over two. Over two, they're not that much bigger, even 28 or 14 count Ada. So that's what the booklet looks like. And I think there is, it's very hard to show you the pages because on each page is a separate chart with the color code and some finishing ideas. And I also give sources in the back of the booklet. So those are the booklets. I'm going to move that pile out of the way. I'm going to have a mess when I'm done here, and that's okay. So now I'm moving on to my next topic, and that is, oh no, I have something I always have to look at my notes. I have something very dear to my heart, and I'm sure to yours too, that I want to talk to you about. And that is, I got a letter last week from Teresa and Anna from the Jersey Girl Stitch Company. And it's just a beautifully written letter. And Teresa and her daughter are doing a fundraiser. They do this every year. They create special pins and they sell a limited edition of 200 pins. And every cent of what you buy this year is going to the American Cancer Society. And in the letter, Teresa talked about the fact that she lost her mother to cancer, or not her mother, I'm sorry, her mother-in-law, several other family members, and she said, I just, this research is so important, and I agree, because my sister has had breast cancer, my father had cancer, I have a son-in-law with cancer now, and I just got a letter from a very dear friend this week in California, Catherine, who also has been diagnosed. So you can tell it makes me very emotional because it has touched all of us. Even if it's not in our immediate family, we know somebody who is going through this or has gone through it or whom we've lost. So I'll tell you some details about this wonderful, wonderful fundraiser. You can pre-order, and I'll put their website below, Jersey Girl Stitch Co. And you can go to their website and you can pre-order a set of pins. They are $25. I have a picture to show you. They're beautiful pins. I think there's shipping added. They're called the Anime's Lace Pins. And they hope to raise $5,000. And as I said, all of the money is going to the society. And she said, our family believes in paying it forward. And this just goes with my kindness theme. She said they choose a different fundraiser every year, which I think is just wonderful. So, if this is something that touches your heart like it touches mine, please go to their website. And this is what the pins look like. Aren't they just beautiful? It's got a little blue bow down here. Pink hearts. I just thought they were lovely, so I need to remind myself to go and order a set for myself. So that was just, as they say, it really touched my heart, and it's for such a good cause. So now, my next topic, I will move on. I always like to show you pictures that people have sent me, and they're not always posted on my Instagram account. Sometimes they come in just an email to me. Someone says, oh, Judy, look what I finished. Sometimes they're posted on my personal Facebook page, and I know a lot of people are not on Facebook. So every time I do a video, I like to just show you how our other viewers have finished some of my designs because I find it very inspirational. So I've got a pile here, and we'll see if I can do it in some kind of order without messing up, right? So the first one was done by Kristen M. And she did, there's a bit of a glare here from my lamp, she did alphabet cats. And look at that darling frame she found. It's just so cute. I don't think I asked her, and I don't remember. If it is on my Instagram account, I'll go back and look at the comments to see if she said where it was from. So this is what the booklet looks like. There are actually two different alphabet cats. There is an Alphabet Dogs book also, and these are quite old, but they are still in print. So they're kind of sweet, they're small. So that was one of the pictures that we got. And then, let's see, all right, here's, I obviously am very out of practice. So this is another beautiful finish. This was done by Faye. This is French Country Santa. She did it on an 18 count opalescent, and the frame what she found, she said, in a bin at Hobby Lobby, and it was probably in the unfinished wood products section, and she just spray painted it. But there were so many comments about this. People just loved the finish. I love the greenery at the top, just beautiful. And then this is, of course, what the booklet looks like. And as you noticed, you can always leave out the wording on the design and just do the design itself. So then the next one I wanted to show you is from Crafty Mimi of 6. And she did the Fleur Noel. And there's another floss tuber who did, Mrs. Jones Stitches, Holly did this too. And instead of doing it in Christmas colors, she chose pastels. And I know this is a very small photo, but I think it's just stunning. It's primarily done, I would say, in pinks, greens, and blues. And you know, she just changed the whole pattern, made it look completely different. This is what the booklet looks like. I love it when I see you do something that I've designed and you change it completely. I just think it's so clever. It's so fun to share it with you, and I think it probably inspires the rest of you. So the next one is, let's see, this is Halloween in the Round. This was again done by Kristen M, and it's done over 1, and she's finished it in, and she told me what it was. I'm trying to remember. I'll have to go back and look. It's got a black edging on it, but this I just loved the way it turned out. And I actually have my model of that, so I'll show it to you later. And this is what the Halloween in the Round looks like. That's the model stitched over too. So I have fall models to show you today because we are in fall, that is for sure. Although today it's supposed to be near 80, so fall was here and it's gone already. Now the next one, let's see. This is done by Dita, and she had the sweetest comment. This is Georgian Floral Basket, which we've seen quite a bit. And her comment was, she said, this was prettier than I expected. And I thought, well, isn't that a nice comment? So this is what the booklet looks like. This was so much fun to chart. I charted it from an antique that was stitched on silk. And Dita did a beautiful job, so we'll have to wait to see how she finishes it. Let's see, what else do I have in my pile here? All right, the next one is French Country Cat. And there are 2 that people sent to me, and I forgot to write down your names. So just write in the comments if you are indeed are the person, and I will acknowledge you next time. But she did it all in black, in a black frame. I thought it was stunning, and this is what the booklet looks like. I have to try it this way. As I say, my light is supposed to be helping, but sometimes it doesn't. So that's the French Country Cat. And then Kathy B., who's a frequent contributor to my finishes, she found these frames at Hobby Lobby, and her comment to me was, I think they'd be perfect for your round finishes. And I thought, oh, this especially is so clever. Now you'd probably have to do the piece over 1, but you could do it on a 25 count. I think it would fit if you measured, of course, beforehand. But I had to share those with you. And then, why do I have this here? Good question, Judy. So then I've gotten another picture from a group called, it's a stitch-along group, and it's, I think you can join this. I think it's an online group. It's called Stitchers of Status, and they, I believe, live in Memphis. And look at how they've chosen 2 of my designs, and they chose the When Cardinals Appear and the Bluebirds of Happiness design, and look at how many versions there are. I am stunned, and I'm so tickled by how many are stitching this and finishing it. As you can see, at least 2 of them are framed. So I was delighted to see that. And then another, I'll show you the books in a second here. And then another person, again, I forgot to write their name down, just finished the, I wrote When Cardinals, but this is When Cardinals Appear. And she just did a beautiful job, and it's already framed. So When Cardinals Appear looks like this. It's a very large chart on the inside because the design is smaller than I can fit. You know what, let's see if I can take this out. Sorry for the crinkles. It's very hard to see when it's in plastic. So that is what When Cardinals Appear looks like. Primarily pinks and greens. This came out a year ago. And then the other design that these stitchers are working on is Bluebirds of Happiness. And so I just thank all of you for sending your beautiful, beautiful models. So keep it up. I love having them arrive. So my next topic for today, this is a very, I don't want to say scattered, but it has many themes. I wanted to concentrate on my fall models, so I pulled out many of my fall models, but then it's also Sampler September, and I wanted to take a minute to honor that. So hopefully I'll do another video. I've got to put this down here so I can make room. Hopefully I do another video before the end of the month, because I have many sampler designs that I would love to share with you, antique samplers. So let's move on to the next segment, and I'm just going to show you just a series of models that I have stitched and finished. This is called Fall in the Round, and this is how that design was finished. And what I did is I bought a paper mache box. You can buy a set of them at Hobby Lobby, and they're all different sizes. This particular model was stitched over 2, probably on a 32 count or 28 count fabric. I just covered the paper mache box with fabric, and you can buy a spray, a fabric spray, and adhere fabric to these boxes. So I not only covered this part of the box, I'm going to take the lid off here because I want to show you the inside, but I also covered the rim of the box. And then I mounted the piece on the top, again just using the comic board, and trimmed it with cording. And then as a little surprise on the inside of my round pieces, especially if they're in a box format, I like to stitch like one of the motifs that's in the design and make it a little surprise for the inside of the box. So let me put this back together carefully. The lid is a little, as you can see, is a little tricky to get on. Maybe I'm not going to be able to do it while you're all watching. I guess not. It'll be askew. But I just added ribbon and a little trim for it. All right, let's move on to the next piece. All right, this is called Owls in the Round. You know I love doing my owl designs. And this actually sits on a small, like a glass jar. And again, I can buy those at Hobby Lobby. I spray paint the top of the lid. I spray paint the back here. And then again, I've got a design on the top, trimmed with cording. And then I added a little owl to the inside of this lid. And this is what the booklet looks like. All right, another design to share with you, which you might have seen in the past, is French Country Crow. And I just love the finishing on this. I think I've shown you it before, but it's just so easy, it's simple, it's just made into a little pillow. But my finisher just put a a wide piece of rickrack down the side, a narrower piece on top of that, and then added 3 black buttons. Such a simple finish, but you could do this yourself. You know, it's not much sewing machine work, and then of course there's a backing. It's actually a black corduroy. So that's what the little crow looks like, and this is what the booklet looks like. And some of these patterns are quite a bit older, but the ones that are still selling and doing well, I try to keep in print. So another in this series is the French Country Witch. Again, she's beautifully finished by a professional finisher, mounted on a board with a real narrow brown striped fabric, a coordinating fabric on the back, rickrack between the 2 boards, and then a tiny little rickrack actually goes around. No, I'm sorry, it's not rickrack. It's a chenille that goes around the edge of this piece. And this is what French Country Witch booklet looks like. That particular model that I just showed to you is stitched over 1, but I stitched it again over 2 and finished it as a pillow using the fabric on either side of the design. Alright, the next one I'm going to grab. I actually have 2 models of this, which I've shown you before, and I thought I'd show you again because this is the time of year if you're looking for wooden pumpkins to mount your designs on. Hobby Lobby always has them every year. Now it might not look exactly like mine does, but usually you can find some kind of a pumpkin. This one I didn't have to paint. It actually came in this color, and so I just mounted my Halloween in the round on this piece. This one is stitched over 1, but I have another model to show you that's been stitched over 2, and this might have come even from Michael's. Let's see. No, it came from Joann's, which is out of business, but Michael's has good products too for finishing. So you can see this was a very tall pumpkin, and what I like about it is it's got a flat base, so it can stand on a table. And this is Halloween in the round again, and stitched over 2. So let's put that off to the side. I just have a few more to go. All right, this is Black Cat, French Country Black Cat. Again, the finishing I think is what really sets it apart. It's just a simple black and white polka dot ribbon with a little button in the corner tied with thread, black and white cording around the edges. Very, very simple. It's done on like a black suede. It was finished on a black suede. You see what the back looks like. And that booklet for this design looks like this. So, you know, when you have the booklet in front of you and you see the finish, that will help you if you want to reproduce that kind of finish yourself. So I have 2 more to go here. No, 3 more. All right, this is French Country Ghost. My daughter laughed at me when I was doing these. She said, "Mom, I don't understand why French Country goes with all these Halloween designs." Well, it doesn't. However, my French Country designs are all made up, as you know, most of you know, of little tiny motifs make up the shape of the design. So in the ghost, you'll see a hat and an owl and a basket and a pumpkin and a crow and a cat and an acorn. It's just so much fun to design them. So each one of these that I'm showing you is made up of tiny motifs. And this is what the little ghost looks like. Again, I love the finishing, very similar to the others, but if you see the cover of the booklet, you might be inspired to say, oh, I want to use that, and use it on another design. That will work too. All right, so the last 2 that I have to show you, this is a French Country Squirrel, and as I say, these designs are older. I think this is quite charming actually, and this is what the booklet looks like. So I did it, this one is done over one, and then you can see in the back of the booklet here, that is the design that's been done over two. And let's see, the over two was done on a 32 count cream brulee ribbon from cream brulee fabric from R&R Reproductions. So that's the squirrel. I had the best of intentions. I was going to put all of these things in a bag so I could put them away, but we will do all of that cleanup later. So the last one I have to show you is called French Country Scaredy Cats. And I have seen this design actually worked in quite a few color combinations. And I'm going to show you the cover of the book because I did mine all in shades of oranges and, you know, copper colors, very deep oranges. I've also seen people do just the lettering in one color and then the cats in another. I've also seen people do it in a variegated, you know, some of fibers are more variegated than others, and they've chosen like a very strong variegated Halloween fiber with all the oranges in it, and it was quite striking actually. So this is Scaredy Cats. Originally, as I say, I stitched it in oranges and framed it, and so it's a completely different look to the very same design. Alright, so I'm done with the Halloween and fall models, and I'm moving on, and my next topic is going to be, I just pulled three. I pulled three of my antique samplers from my collection that are hanging on the walls in my office here, and it was hard to choose actually because I have so many that are favorites, but these are quite large and a little bit unwieldy. So I'm going to hold up the frame of this one. Again, we're going to, let's see, if I put it this way, you'll be able to see it. And even though this is a very simple sampler, just alphabets in red, I love especially this lower alphabet. I just think there's something charming about an antique red sampler, even if it's just alphabets or alphabets and motifs. There's just something about it that appeals to me. And when I started collecting antique samplers, everything that I purchased was red and white, which is very interesting because I don't use red in my house at all, except up here, and I just love the look of red and white samplers. So this actually comes from a booklet that was published, oh, I don't even have the publication date on this, but it's called A Collection of Antique Red Samplers, and there are actually 5 complete sampler charts in this booklet. And so not only do you have this one, but 4 others that obviously that are in my collection. So I think it's kind of a bargain because you get many designs in one booklet. And I have, sorry for the noise there, I have a couple of other collections to show you. So the next one that I want to show you is from a booklet that I called American Marking Samplers. And these were all samplers that I purchased that I knew had been done in the US. I'm going to show you one of the antique pieces, and then I'm going to show you the reproduction of it. This was one of my very favorites, I think because it is so old. It was done, I have to look at the original because I have to look at my reproduction because the original is hard to read. I'm going to hold this up and show you. This was done in 1787 by Jane Forbes, and I was able to trace her family history. It is just fascinating. It is, anytime I could trace the history of a sampler, I included that, what I could find in the booklet. So that was the original. I mean, I think it's remarkable because it is so old and still looking just wonderful. I do not frame that. I haven't framed that yet, nor would I hang it in the sunshine. It's quite fragile. But this was my reproduction of that. And July 21st, she was born in 1787. So actually she would have stitched this, I think, I thought this one said the year she stitched it. I think I'm thinking of another one. So it probably would have been very early 1800s when she stitched this piece. She put 17, the date on it as her birth date. All right, then the third sampler that I want to show you, and I'm going to show you the antique because the reproduction is actually at a trunk show, comes from another collection of samplers that I own, and this is called Antique Sampler Collection 2. And in this one, there is one from Cornwall that I was able to find the history of, absolutely fascinating. There's an Italian one that is so interesting. Another one from the America that was stitched in 1805 by Olive, and I found out quite a bit about her family. The one I'm going to show you right now, again, this is quite large, was stitched by Edith Sherwood, and this was stitched in 1884. It is, I love the colors of it. As I say, it's quite heavy. It was all stitched in a very heavy wool fiber on a coarse fabric. And I love the basket at the bottom. I love the fact that she included the school where she went to school, and she was 11 years old when she stitched this. So isn't it just remarkable to see pieces that were stitched by very, very, very young girls? So thank you for coming and listening. I have a couple of other segments to finish my video today. First of all, I want to tell you about my shop of the month. And my shop of the month is Country Sampler. It is in Spring Green, Wisconsin. If you don't get her newsletter, I'm going to encourage you to sign up for it. It is always lovely. And follow her on Instagram. The pictures of her shop, she carries quilting and cross stitch. It is one of the prettiest curated shops I've ever seen. I've not been there. I'd love to go. So here's the address. It's owned by Jeannie. Her email is stitchgirl@yahoo.com. It shows the phone number there. I'll put this in the notes below. And Jeannie has my trunk show right now. So I was very excited to send it to her when she was in Nashville. I think this past year she said, "Do you have any openings?" And so I looked at my calendar. She was really excited to get the models, and I got a nice note from Krista, one of her assistants, that said they were very excited to see them. So if you're in the area and want to stop in, many of my models are there. Now I like to give prizes, and I go through all of the comments from the previous video, use a random number generator, and my prizes are a little different than most. I don't tell you what the prizes are. I just say to you, if your name is called today, you just tell me, of all the patterns I showed you today, what would you like to receive? And I'm happy to send it to you. So my first winner is Carol Conroe, Conrow. I think I have that right. The second one is Karen Jones 2, and the third winner is Itching for Stitching. And the best way to reach me always is my email. I very rarely, for some reason, check my Gmail. I don't get that many messages there. So it's judy@jbwdesigns.com, and I will put that in the notes below. And our theme this last couple months, I don't remember when I started it, has been kindness. And I'm always looking for a quote that kind of reflects what we're trying to spread in the world. And this was by Maya Angelou. I've learned that people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. So I'm urging you all, and I know you do it because you write to me about it, to continue to practice unexpected acts of kindness, because it can make a difference, as we know. So I have a couple life updates, quick ones. I have a picture of our little great-granddaughter, and I'm very careful not to show her face. She's 20, almost 21 months old. She's just a little bundle of energy, and she and all of our family was here for Labor Day, and she loves pets. Now, we don't have pets, but her mom and dad have a cat and a dog. So a couple weeks ago, she was visiting our son and daughter-in-law and their family at their house, and they had kittens. And there were 3 pictures of Nevaeh, and at first I thought she was holding a stuffed animal. I tell you what, she is giving this little kitten so much love. And so there were 3 pictures. There was this one where she's just, squeezing the heck out of it. There was another one where she had its little head right here, and she was carrying it around. And there was another one where she was giving it kisses. So it's just so precious, and we just so enjoy having a little one in our family again. And the other thing I want to tell you about is last week I had the most wonderful visit. I have a very good friend here, Connie, who used to travel with me to all the markets, and we've known Maureen Appleton with Heart's Content for probably 30 years. And she and her husband decided they were we haven't seen each other in 5 years. They were going to come to Kalamazoo and visit us for 3 days. And I tell you, my husband teases me about this. We never stopped talking from the time we saw each other till the time we left. We had so many things to talk about. The people we've met, the vendors, the shop owners we've met, and all the places that we exhibited and the adventures we had. It was so much fun. And these days, as we grow older, we always think, we don't get, some of our friends who live far away, we don't get to see them very often. So it was truly special. And the only other thing that I can tell you that's keeping me busy is I started designing a course again, and that I love that part of my life. So that is, I'm going to give you a quick how to contact me. I have an Instagram account, judy.whitman. I have an email, judy@jbwdesigns.com. My website, oh my gosh, it is a mess. And someone called me this week, and the poor lady, I'm going to call her back, was trying to download some PDF files. The website was compromised, and I didn't find this out. Someone is working on it for me, but I didn't find out till about 2 weeks ago. Even though you can look at it, it is not working at all. You certainly do not want to be buying on it. I don't think you can. I don't think it will go through. So my graphic designer Kim is working on a new website, and we brainstormed a couple weeks ago about all the things that we could include in this website. So I hope it's sooner rather than later, because it seems like it's taking forever, but keep your fingers crossed. And the other place to see things that I post is on my Friends of JBW Designs Facebook page. So go there and you can see beautiful finishes. Thank you so much. I so appreciate you all, and hopefully I'll see you before a month is out. Bye-bye.